Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel S2T. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about Fujifilm newly announced XT4. So let's dive right into it. Now, Fuji is a kind of very simple situation. It's not complicated because they do not have multiple tiers of a product. They are not like Canon where they have a APS-C and full frame. They are very simple. They are like APS-C only, and the only thing else they make is a medium format, which is completely different beast. So basically, one puppy will only go up to like around $3,000 to $4,000. Another puppy starts at $10,000. So there is no overlap here. Now, in case of Sony, Nikon, and Canon, they always have this issue where, like, let's say in case of Sony, A6600 cost so damn much, and it's so damn close to A7 Mark III that it's like, why the heck I'll buy 6600? So that happens with almost every company. However, Fuji is unique in that regard because Fuji is like flat out, bro, I'm not gonna compete in basically a full frame. I'm directly gonna compete in medium format where there is not that much competition. So they are succeeding there. And in APS-C, because every company has this conflict of interest where they're like, Canon, let's say Nikon can make D500, but they cannot make it too good because that will directly affect the sales of D5. So there is always conflict, but Fuji does not suffer from that. So Fuji makes one of the best APS-C system out there, flat out, no questions asked. APS-C, if you want to buy APS-C and if you're happy with it, Fuji is your camera company. And this XT4 is the best model from there at this point of recording. At this point, there is nothing better you can buy from Fuji. Even XH series, they have some pros and all, but this is overall as a complete package much better. This is the highest end system. Now, although it does come at a very hefty price of $1,700. So you have to understand this. Fuji is like very good at what they do, and the biggest problem with X-T3 was that even though the camera was so damn good, it had certain serious flaw. Now Fuji has learned from very early on that you have to give dual card slot if you want professionals to take your stuff seriously, because people do not like the idea of losing let's say a wedding because your card failed. And you may be like, that never happened to me. I am glad for you, that's awesome, that's amazing, but it does happen over in a long enough time. It will happen. You just hope you retire before that happens. But again, if that happens, let's say some fluke event does cause that, having dual card slot is necessary. That's why almost all servers have like 3 to 4 backups, and like heck, even their power supplies are backed up. Heck, even every single professional camera from Nikon and Canon have dual card slot as early as they could have done that. So reality is you have to have dual card slot, and Fuji did not skimp out on that. So that is amazing part. And here you can see Sony does not give you any dual card slot option in APS-C system because Sony has conflict of interest. So that's amazing. Now XT3 also had that, so that's not an improvement, that's like continuation of an awesome thing, which is awesome. But the biggest problem with XT3 was that it had really poor battery life. So they fixed that. Not only that, they turbocharged it by introducing the 3 battery system. Now 3 battery system is not unique to Fuji. Even some Nikons had that option, that where you can have 1 battery in the body, 2 batteries in the vertical grip, and you can YOLO it out. However, in this time, because not only the battery itself is upgraded, they are giving you a new option where if you buy the vertical grip for XT4, it will come with the new batteries. So if you buy like, okay, checkout option, buy XT4 and vertical grip, you're gonna get 3 batteries, because these vertical grips are expensive, but they do not come with batteries. So the fact that they are, at least in the beginning, they are bundling it with 2 proper high quality cells, that's amazing. And Fuji is only other company after Panasonic that knows how to use USB charging, because Nikon has USB charging, Canon has USB charging, Sony has USB charging. None of them work properly. Sony is the best in those two, because Canon and Nikon will flat out will not work unless their own power bricks is used. Sony is bit better, but they still do not have proper handshakes. That's why you will have people like, hey, I'm using USB to record video in 4K, but my battery is going down simply because it's not taking enough power from USB system, because it's not doing handshake. So you have to buy Sony's adapter so to do that. So, and Canon will flat out not work. Nikon has the same issue. But this time Panasonic and Fuji, they know how to use what we call USB PD standard, aka power delivery standard, aka the standard that was designed for working laptop, aka charging laptops, and whole Apple ecosystem relies on that. And they'll basically ultra thin and light nowadays are relying on that. So NPD was designed for very high application. Basically they can go as high as 20 volts of power. So what does that mean? That simply means the power brick that you're getting from with this puppy, it's 15 watt. It can charge the battery easily, and if you have all 3 in the same time, you can still charge it. It will just take longer. But if you have, let's say, a laptop power adapter which has 45 watts of power delivery. Heck, many mobile also has that, although the standards may not align properly, so that may be an issue. But if you can have let's say third-party brick from Anchor or something like that, you can charge all three battery at high speeds. That is amazing. That is like, thank you for utilizing USB power delivery the way it's intended. It's like not like, you know, no handshake, or like Canon is like, no, I'm not gonna use your USB because your USB is like your USB. I want my Canon USB. So, and Sony is like, okay, it's your USB, so I'm gonna run it in like, you know, without handshake, so power delivery would be less. So they have really given you a camera that you can count on. It like the battery will never be an issue. It was a serious issue with X-T3 because even, you know, people who love it, they're like, dude, I have to use with vertical grip because the battery life is just meh. So they have really pushed the battery aspect here to the upper limit, and it's quite amazing. The vertical grip is much better than anything you can buy in Sony, Canon and Nikon. Why? Simply because you can have 3 of the batteries, and Nikon flat out does not give you vertical controls, which this does. So amazing pro features. Like, not only you have dual you know, peace of mind of dual card, you also have peace of mind for bigger battery. So amazing things. Now Fuji is already known as a proper camera company. Why? Because they have been making films for like, you know, 50-60 years. They know colors, and that shows in their JPEG algorithms. The raw does not matter too much. You can if you have a proper professional who has been dealing with raw files for long enough, they can give you a raw file and you can flat out fool anyone. Oh, this is from Canon, this is from Nikon, this is from Sony. They can fool anyone if the raw is uncompressed. That's normal, that's expected, because the raw file does not have the coloring information. But Fuji made the name for themselves because the coloring information, they spend time on that. Like Sony, Nikon and Canon and all that just give you a JPEG. They spend time on that, and they created film simulations and all that. Because they have actual development history with the films, the colors are magical. Basically they are what basically Instagram filter wants to be. They know that, like they know the analog nature. What does analog actually mean because of the experience, and it truly shows. Like if you want to a chill camera, you're just buying it, you're gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna take the photo, put that photo into like, you know, Photoshop or Lightroom, and then I'm gonna edit it. No, if you just like, I'm gonna capture the photo and share it in Instagram, this is amazing. So it was very well known from very early on that Fuji is focusing on that, and they are really delivering on that. But video was kind of bit lacking. Now in this puppy, they turbocharged that. It's like, okay, we're not gonna hold back, because they had IBIS in XH1, but they did not want to give that because the XH1 used spring-based IBIS system, the coil spring, so to say. So it was very expensive. However, this time they are using magnetic systems, and it's much more smaller. That's why they can pack it in this version. So IBIS was a very big missing piece. They fixed it. On top of that, they have fixed flip-out screen. Now this is quite amazing with Fuji, simply because Fuji is the only company that has a different style of flip-out that was using X100, which flipped out like this, but it had a hinge like this. Rather than a rotating hinge, it has a like a flip out hinge. So some people like that standard, and having a proper flip out, because flip out can give you a normal screen and it can give you everything else in between. So flip out is always better, because if you do not like flip out, you can just rotate it, put it back, done, never ever use it. But if you want like flip out, you cannot flip out any other design. So that is quite amazing. So these two were missing elements. They fixed that. Now this does 4K 60 frame per second at 10-bit internal, 420, but still 10-bit internal. Now 8-bit and 10-bit is a huge jump. Now when I say huge jump, I do not mean huge jump in terms of data consumption, in terms of file sizes and all that jazz. In terms of visual fidelity, it goes up drastically. Why? You are going from 200 levels of images to 1000 levels of images. I know the full number, what it is. It's just go with that, 200 to 1000. You can see the difference. But what happens when you go from basically 1000 to anything higher, let's say 12-bit or 16-bit? Now is it going higher? Absolutely, but you cannot perceive that. Why? Simply because what we call point of diminishing returns. Like, yeah, it's a little bit better. It's like, you know, going from mono audio to stereo, it's like, whoa, stereo to 5.1, okay, but 5.1 to like, you know, 10.3D audio system is like, okay, it's like, you know, bit better, unless it's like properly mastered and all this. So that happens, point of diminishing returns. So 10-bit internal is more than good enough. People are like, you know, I want 12-bit or 24-bit. Yeah, no, 10-bit is more than good. 10-bit is so good that you can easily say this is not from a mobile phone. So 4K 60, 10-bit 420 is a bit off, but okay, more than good enough. Right now there is only Panasonic cameras that can do that, so it is amazing. No Sony, Canon or Nikon can do that, so flat out amazing. Then they wound up Sony, because Sony has been doing very good at high-speed autofocus system, and they utilize it in their full HD 120 frames per second with audio. Now they cannot do audio yet, but they can do 240, so that's quite amazing. And if you want to do live streaming, or if you really want to do a lot of green screening, for that reason people prefer 4:2. They have clean HDMI output. However, because the HDMI port is micro, people would advise you to use what we call a cage, so you can have strain relief on the cable, otherwise the cable will snap, because it happens with many things. So in terms of video spec, Fuji at this point in time is like, no, we are serious about this. Like, if you vloggers want to be serious, we are serious. It's like, give us give us your money, and we're gonna give you the best product out there. So it's a very serious deal. It's like a Panasonic GH5 with basically better autofocus. So it's a very capable video beast. Now we come to the hard aspect of this. Well, everything so far is amazing, good, but one aspect that hits me is like, it's way too damn expensive. It's like ludicrously expensive, and it has one of the things that baffle me is like, why the heck it has 30-minute recording limit? The reason 30-minute recording limit was there is because European Union, and if you want any reason to hate European Union, that's the reason. European Union was like, okay, if your camera can do more than 30-minute recording limit, we will classify that as a video camera, which means we're gonna higher tax it. So Panasonic directly used to pay the tax. That's why the GH5 had what we call unlimited recording time, but recently they removed that. That is why Sony A7R Mark IV, Sony A9 Mark II, and A6400, A6600, all of them have unlimited recording, simply because European Union has now removed that rule. So after that rule removal, Fuji not giving that feature is like kind of weird, and thankfully this is something that can be fixed in what we call basically software patch, but I do not know whether they're gonna do it. But this is really bad. This is like really lame. Like, you making a supercar, but you like, you know what would be amazing? Let's remove the wheels from it. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, this is truly frustrating. It's like, because this is the easiest thing now. You can specify that in XT3, that time the rules was not removed, and the battery life was not strong enough. But this time they do not have such an issue. So it's like, what the hell, man? That is genuinely frustrating. Now, because of the price, it opens up doors to much more competition than it would have otherwise. So competition number one, if you are serious about short filmmaking, if you're serious about video work where you're going to do it professionally, aka manual focus only, you can buy Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, and it will smoke. It will be like, nope. It will flat out give you video quality, the color gradation and all that jazz that people seek from a cinema camera. It is a proper cinema camera. Again, the sensor size is not amazing, but it's damn good, and like, you can really experiment with it. And not to mention, it also comes with a full package of software. So if you really want to push video, you're like, hey, all I'm gonna do is short videos and all that jazz, this is really good. Does not have 30-minute limit, so quite amazing option here if you want better video quality. Let's talk like, somebody is like, dude, all I do is photography is my passion, that's all I want to do. Canon RP, if there is any company that people are like, that can compete with direct, like, I'm talking JPEG, because raw, all of them are more or less the same. Yes, there is a little bit of difference, but almost all of them are same. So Canon EOS RP is quite amazing, and it's cheaper, and it also has that all flip out. The only thing it does not have is like video features, don't even think about it, and it does not have dual card slot. So I would not urge you to use this in a wedding scenario, but you can if you want to. So because of RPs and the fact that Canon has such a huge lens selection, and I'm talking EF lenses, and Canon's EF lenses works well with Canon R system, simply because Canon's EF lens is drive-by-wire, while Nikon's lens is drive-by-actual lever. There is an actual lever in Nikon lenses which you can adjust. That's why Nikon is having issue with even first-party lenses working with the first-party body, because of it's not drive-by-wire. Canon does not have that issue. So Canon has huge lens selection, huge. And if you really want to have the best lens out there, because lens is a long-term investment, you want to change the body sooner or later, but lenses is something you buy and you forget. Like, I bought it, yeah, I'm using it for like 7-8 years. So in those scenarios, Canon has really high end. Yes, those lenses are heavy and expensive, but again, if you are a basically worker, like, I'm gonna take money from someone and I'm gonna give them a product, they don't care how much you suffer, they care the product. Like, is the photograph that I'm giving you has the bokehest background blur out there, it has the cleanest ISO performance out there. In both scenarios, this will smoke Fuji. But you're like, let's say you want to have some more control with a dual card slot, bit more video features, you can have Sony A7 Mark III, which is right now available at the same price as the first hand. So this, again, not as amazing as Fuji in terms of video performance. It does not have 60 frames per second at 4K, and the IBIS is, let's not talk about that. It has IBIS, it's better than nothing, but it's not as amazing as Fuji system. But again, everything else is better. All both of them have 30-minute recording limit, and both of them are older and available for much lower price. And full frame flat out smokes APS-C, because physics is simple: bigger lens, bigger sensor equals better output. It's physics wise. I'm not talking about the composition, I'm not talking about aesthetics. If the photographer is good enough, if photographer is like, okay, I am this at this level, I'm like, how driver and car, they both have 50-50, assume that photographer is like 50%. It's like, I'm done, maximum, I'm maxed out, my talent is maxed out. If you give them a better equipment, they're gonna give you better output. Now that is the reason why full frame format have survived around 150 years. So anybody who's like, hey, you do not need it, yeah, you do not need it, it's not necessary. It's just like, but if you have to give you the best low light performance, if you have to give the best color quality, you have to go to full frame. Why? Because they have the best lens selection. And you can try medium format, but again, medium formats are so expensive that let's not talk about that. So that's the reality. A7 Mark III is a very good option. Canon RP is a very good option. And if you want full video, YOLO videos, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K is a very good option. So in this point, if they had made it cheaper, or if they had like, okay, we're gonna release at the same price as XT3, but we're gonna reduce the price of XT3 to some point, like $100 or $200 cheaper, that would have made more sense. But making it $1,700, it's a really tough pill to swallow. Simply because Canon RP is a very good value, and A7 Mark III is also a very good value. So this was my presentation on basically Fuji XT4. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I'd urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment, and please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.